It's recording. It's recording.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Hello. It's a beautiful evening, and thank you all for coming out, even despite the baseball game being.
I know. I
Some people
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
There's some sacrificing, but it's well worth it because we have Roy Cole.
Oh,
And Roy was born and bred here, has been here his life, and been interested in history forever. He's the one that has all the pictures,
Yeah.
all the stories. If you don't follow his Facebook page or the Historic Society Facebook page, and you're interested in history, you definitely should, because that's where all the story. He puts up a picture, and then 6 people tell the rest of the story. It's really a nice community, a way of getting our history together. So, in light of that, we'll introduce Roy Cole, which everybody knows, but Roy, you're on.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Well, I'm going to start to stumble through the different places Wegners Cafe was. Can we hit the switch back there, please? It gets a little brighter screen if we do. So here we got Charles and Caroline Wegner, owned several businesses in Mackinaw City starting in 1929. So the first couple of pictures I'm going to show you, actually I got from, give Aaron Thompson credit for them, because he had posted a picture of Wegners Cafe on the Facebook page, and he got a response back. From a guy, get my notes out here. His name was Gary Otter, and he senior, and he's a great. Charles and Caroline Wegner was his great grandparents at one time. So he sent a message back to Aaron and said, "Hey, I got a couple pictures of Wegners Cafe when they first started. I think it was in 1929." So here's what the first picture that Aaron posted was this one.
Oh my God.
So on the bottom it says the Wegners Wegners Place, Mackinaw City. But the guy told Aaron, he says, well, that was not the name of the business. The original name of the business was Patty Ann Sandwich Shop. He says, okay. So, but it says Wegners Place down there.
You're fine.
So the next picture is the same building. And sure enough, on the sign up there, you can see it. It says Patty Ann's Sandwich Shop. So when he posted this, he put on Facebook. He says, "I don't know where Mackinaw City this picture is at." He says, he sent me these pictures and no clue where it's at. So I said, "All right, well let me go do some searching." So I searched, and I found a picture of this is South Huron, looking down South Huron, okay, and sure enough, there it is, right there, the building.
Oh my God.
The building sitting right there. Now you got a big building called White Walls Restaurant sitting right next to it. So I want to take a few minutes and go through this picture. Right here is a sign that says boat races. Now I blew this up, but I don't have a blown up version. And right here is another sign that's shaped as an Indian teepee, and it says Tyson's Food. And it's pointing down, it's got an arrow pointing down the road. So the next building right here is Dustin's Garage. Everybody knows Dustin's Garage, okay? That building is going to be main focus of this whole program. That building's been there forever, okay? It's got stay there. So it's like an airport hangar. It says Dustin's Garage, and down the other sign says Dustin's Storage on it. So I want to talk about this big white building here for a minute. So we back it up 2 spots. You can see this big white building sitting next to Wegners Place, all right? Go forward to the next one, it's gone. That building is gone. Where did it go? Well, we'll show you in a minute, I think. All this stuff, I'm speculating just by researching and looking at pictures.
Roy, Can I ask, that's the lake in their backyard?
That is, yeah, this is on the, yeah, Lake Huron, that's on the lakeside. Yep, that's on the lakeside. So this picture here, you could, yep, this is on the lakeside. So I'm from here, just down the road is the entrance to the state dock. So I took this picture, this building right there, in this section here, and I blew it up, and this is what I found, okay? Alright, now it does not say Patty Ann's sandwich shop. What it says is California Hamburger Hotel and Sandwich Shop on that sign. Alright,
Somebody took a
so this, behind this telephone pole right here, there's another sign which you can hardly see. That says Wegners Cafe on it. It says, it looks like 1,000 feet, good coffee and good eats is what that sign says. Oh, okay. So I'm taking it that when Wegners come and bought it, it was called the California Hamburger Hotel and Sandwich Shop. Because eventually, when they took it over, that does say Patty Ann's Sandwich Shop, and that is the same sign that's there. So, that big building there kind of concerned me. So, here it is, I found it. It must have moved it, because now it's on the state dock. That, what you're looking there, is kind of deceiving, but the state dock runs this way, and those buildings are facing the state dock, they're not facing Huron Street. So you got the White Walls Restaurant, and there was, I remember the gas station, another picture of the gas station was on the corner there. So my theory is, when they enlarged the state dock, they must have tore all those buildings out, because they went south with the state dock. And here it is, right there. There's the state dock entrance approach. I'll learn how to run this yet. And there's that building facing the state dock.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's amazing. I turned it around and just shoved it down the road a little way, I think. I'm not for sure what happened.
Roy, do you remember what year they expanded the state dock?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay,
Yeah. No.
Roy,
Yeah.
when did they build the state dock?
Well, the actually, the car ferry was 1923.
Yeah.
It was the aerial. It was the aerial. That only was a hold what, 6, 7 cars. That only lasted like 6 months, and they replaced it because it was too
Well,
small.
what did people do before?
So we put them on cheaper water,
Oh,
and the straight. And
okay.
yep, they took a lot of cars over with the chief. So here's another picture of South Huron. Okay, here's Wegners, that little building sitting right there. You can see it, the same sign. And next to it, there's a gas station. Well, that big building was there. If I go back and show you, the big building was there. You can see that gas station on the other side of that big building. So now that big building's gone. And all these cars are lined up to get on the boats.
Hey, that gas station, the one that I think was Bacchus, where they say was the longest gas source,
Oh,
is that what you're looking at there?
this one, I'm not 100% sure.
It looks like it's somewhat in that area.
Yeah. So I want to give credit to Frank Randall, or yeah, Frank Randall, yeah, for this picture. Now he posted it, he snapshot it and everything else. And last year I asked him for the copy that he has, and he said sure. So I went and see him towards the end of the summer. He said, "Oh yeah, I'll dig some. I got more pictures. I'll dig them out for you." I said, "Oh, great. I'd like to have them." So I waited a week and I went to see him again, and I called him, and he's in Florida already. He's already gone home, gone to Florida. So hopefully this year I'm going to be able to get a better picture. So, of this, so, take a look here, right here, you'll see this sign that says cafe, and it says ferries to Mackinaw Island down here. And I wanna show you what that building is right there. Oops, wrong way. There it is, Dixie Diner. There's a Dixie Diner, and a big sign there says Mackinaw Island Ferry. And Frank's, this was one of Frank's pictures also, but he also, there's several more which I couldn't find. He's got some family members standing in front of the diner. Yeah, I didn't have time to locate him, so. But I thought that was interesting, the old train car as a diner there back then. And here's Wegners Hotel in the lunchroom. Now this is located across the street. Now, so I was all excited about this picture when I found it, and so I took it to Jerry Pryor, and I said, Jerry, what's going on with this picture? He said, oh my, he said, that's my mother.
Oh.
I said, that's your mother? He said, yeah, that's my mother standing in front of the building.
Oh my
I said, oh my God. So, who's Jerry Pryor's mother? Well, Charles and Caroline Wegner had a daughter. Her name was Meta Ann Wegner, who she married a Pryor. In 1935, they had Jerry Pryor. So the connection is Charles and Carolina Wegner are Jerry's grandparents that owned all these businesses. So the story with this, so I told Jerry, I said, I got a bunch of pictures, Jerry. I says, let's get set down together and we'll go through the pictures and you can explain to me where they were, what's going on, and kind of put them in order for me. And Jerry said, oh yeah. He said, I'd like to do that. I said, all right. So it went on about a week later or so. I think I seen him in church, I think it was. And I said, Jerry, you ever thought about sitting down and going through the pictures, your family pictures with me? Yeah, let's do that. He says, yeah, let's pick a time and we'll go and we'll do that. I said, when? Oh, well, he said, you pick a time. So I picked the date, and he's looking at me. He says, well, I'll tell you what. He says, let me get a hold of Dwayne Darrow and Lowell Barnett and a few other people. And he said, we'll just all get together and look at pictures. And I said, all right. But my main concern was Wegners Cafe. So it went on, and Jerry finally come back to me and said, oh, okay, we got the date set. He says, I got this, and that. He says, well, you invite a bunch of friends also. And I says, all right. So I put it out on Facebook. We're having this picture party. And we went to Reverend Pastor Dave, and got the Church of the Straits. I said, okay, we're doing this. So I got the Church of the Straits and my whole picture collection there. I have pictures everywhere lined up. Every table had pictures on it. So I went in there and I picked a spot, and I set my video camera up, and where Jerry was going to sit and where I was going to sit next to Jerry. We're going to discuss this. Well, this is what happened. Here we are. All right, I lost my spot. And so you got Jerry, my sister, and Lowell, and Dwayne, and Loretta Martinek, and I think that's Neil Downing Jr. there. And so I had about 20 or 25 people show up. And guess what happened? I'm out on the floor explaining pictures to everybody else, and as long as they're all talking pictures. So the moral of the story is, I never got to talk to Jerry. So time comes, they get up, about an hour and a half, and well, they're tired and want to go home, and Jerry says, okay, we'll do it some other time. I said, all right. So as you see, there's my camera all set up, and I was videotaping them. And so I took everything down, went home, and then took my camera, put my camera away, and well, a couple weeks later, I went to, get the tape and see what was on it, see what they said, because I was taping them, camera wouldn't work.
Oh,
It had air, no, it was air.
good grief.
So I couldn't get a playback on it. So I got on eBay, I bought a used one. Got it, recorded fine, went to rewind it and then playback wouldn't work. So that's been 10 years ago or so. I still don't know what's on that tape. I still haven't found out what's on that tape. So that was an experience. So this is let's go back. So there's the diner, the hotel, lunchroom. And another thing I want you to remember this building right here. It's got the one single window, two single windows, and the door here, and the big window here. All right, remember that building. So here's the inside of the lunchroom, the Wegners Cafe. And here's another picture of the inside of the Wegners Cafe, the lunchroom. So now, remember that building? One single window, two buildings? Oops. There it is, right there.
Right there.
Now it says Dustin's Garage on it. Wegners Cafe is not there. They have moved. Let's see. Oh, I'm missing a picture. So, here's another picture I come across. I don't know where this picture takes place. After the big building there, the white building with the windows. This one, Wegners Cafe right there, popped up. And of course I didn't get to ask Jerry about this one. But if you look down the road, this building right here is Tyson's Restaurant. And right next to Tyson's is the Grand Garage. That's the property with the Greyhound bus depot was on. So, and if you look, I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a little sign with a little baby on it, and that's the Kiki, that's the Kiki restaurant and hotel. That was a chain that used to be here in Mackinaw. And I understand there's still a couple of them left in Lansing, still in operation. Yeah. So the big white building, you can just see the top of it right here. And here again, here's that, remember the first picture I posted? There's Dustin's Garage with that top, it's still there. So, what I do know, when Tyson's moved, they built it in 1926, but they had to move when the Greyhound bus station bought the property, and they moved down the street. Well, you see where this Wegners Cafe and gift shop is? That's gonna be the future site of Tyson's Restaurant, right there. So I know the Wegners Cafe, wasn't there too long. So this is the Tyson's Restaurant that was down at the end of the street, where the Greyhound bus station was going to be built. And here's another picture where right here, that's where the picture was said Wegners Cafe, right next to Dustin's Garage. Now it's a drugstore. There's several people still remember when that drugstore was there. And here I found this card, Wegners Cafe. Now this puzzled me. It says, grocery store and meat market, where food is food, okay? Charles Wegner property, formerly of Saginaw. Now here, moved to the new cobblestone building near State Dock. All right, so we're gonna take this section right there first. We're not gonna worry about the bottom. We're gonna go right with this one here. Grocery store and meat market. Who knew that they had a grocery store and meat market? I didn't either. So we started searching. So I started searching, okay? And here's what I come up with. This picture. All right. Ah, right there, look at there, in the window, it says Wegners Cafe. That building, the Tyson's had moved from down the street, now they're on the corner. And this is Wegners Cafe on that, but remember the other building next to it. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, so that's Wegners Cafe. Now, you see the building, it's got this pole, well, that's to hang a sign. That's gonna be important coming up, okay? So, this is inside the Wegners Cafe, there. Another inside picture. Presto, alright, there's that building, Tyson's on the corner, and there's that same building, because it got that big long pole where the sign hangs. And then right across from the breakers. There, no, forget what, we're ahead of ourselves, I gotta use this picture anyways. Where it says Jan's Restaurant, that's way ahead of me. But here we go, look at the sign, now it's got a sign on that pole, on that building. This building and that building are separate, they're not connected. So you got the food, it says food store, and then you got Jan's. And remember what Jerry's grandmother's name was? Caroline, was Charles and Caroline Wagner. Alright. And this is a little closer shot, and I zoomed in on it to show you, okay, it's a food, it says food store. That's the name of the store. It's food store.
Food store.
Yeah. So, presto, guess what I found? Caroline's Food Store. 2 weeks ago, I ran across this. I finally realized who owned that food. I knew it was Caroline Food Store and where it was, but I didn't realize it was Wegners that owned it. So now Wegners own the food store. And I 100% believe it was Wegners that owned it. So now we go back to the same card. So we decided, we found where the food store was. Now, move to the new cobblestone building near State Dock. Alright, let's see where we're at. Bang! There we go. We got a cobblestone. Now it's called Jerry Lee's Sandwich Shop. And guess what Jerry told me? That's Jerry and his dad. Standing there. Yep. So if you look at the signs right there, it says special, chop suey, try our hamburger, Williams ice cream. Okay? Now if we move to the next picture, there's the same building. Guess what? The modern sign, now it's Arctic ice cream, and a special chow mein. Now, waffle and sausage, try our hamburgers. So let's back up to the first one. See the sign again.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Lee's Sandwich Shop. See how it's spelled? Jerry with an I-E. Sandwich Shop. Alright. Let's go back to the second one. New sign. Now it's spelled with a Y. Jerry Lee Sandwich Shop. So, why that happened? I don't know. Why you spelled with an I-E to begin with. But that's,
That's money.
so I come to this one, okay, this picture. Now this building, and that building is the same, you can see that. You know, the roof line, the windows and everything's the same. So now they got this new sign out there, it's called Wegners Cafe.
Were we on the lakeside again?
No, that's only the first two pictures on the lakeside. The rest is the under.
Here's the state doctor on the inside.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at that, and so, funny story. When I worked at Bell's Fishery in 2004, I left Bell's and went to work for the village of Mackinaw City. And when I left Bell's, my job went from 7 days a week, and I went to the village, it's 5 days a week. Now I got weekends off, so what am I gonna do? So I took a job, his name Tony Lacombe, worked for Contractor Supply. He sold garage doors, then on the weekends, his own business was installing garage doors and operators. So I went to work with Tony, installing garage doors and operators for 10 years. On the weekends. So, of course, everybody in town knew this. So one evening, I had a phone call from Jerry Pryor. Roy, man, what's up, Jerry? Says, I'm having problems with my garage door. I can't get it open. Can you help me out? Well, sure I can, Jerry. I said, all right. He says, all right. I said, I'll be right over there. So I went over to Jerry's house. And he says, yeah, he says, I'm selling the house. And he says, I got to have the garage doors open before I can sell the house. I said, all right, well, let me take a look. I got the ladder out, went up and checked the connections, and it seemed to be all right. And he's standing there and hands me the remote control. He says, see, it won't work. I said, that's your remote control. He said, yeah. He said, did you try the wall button? He said, that's hardwired in. I said, you got to try the wall button. No, I didn't try the wall button. We get in the car, we open it with the remote control. When we get home, we open it with the remote control. So, all right, so I'll go over to the wall, hit the wall button, garage door goes up. Says, oh, good, all right. So I'm sitting there looking, at the wall button, and thinking, wow. Boy, where'd you get these, Jerry? There's 3 postcards. He's got them stuck between the operator button and the wall. He's got 3 of them in there. Oh, I picked those up. He said, yeah, I just stuck them there. I says, all right. So I get up and I push the learn button and hit the clicker twice, and the remote controls needed just reprogramming is all it is. So the door went up, come down. So I got all done. He says, Roy, he says, how much owe you? I said, you don't owe me nothing, Jerry. He says, I don't take money from people. He says, from Mackinaw. Oh, come on. He says, it's got to be worth something. I said, yeah, it is worth something. I'll tell you what, Jerry. You know those 3 postcards on the wall there? If you let me take those home and scan them in and bring them back, I said, I'll be happy. That's my pay. Well, yeah, go ahead. He said, take those postcards. And he says, and I said, man, these are really, really neat postcards. This is one of them. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm getting there. That's my story. Okay. And, so this is one of those stuff in his operator button there. So now this building triples in size. Okay. If you look at this building, the sign and the building itself. And you go to this building, the sign is the same sign and it's on the same building, but now they got two more sections added onto it of the Wegners Cafe, which I thought. So there we go.
How about year? What year frame are we in?
I'll get to late 40s, early 50s. I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
That's what I'm, it's not a 50 car.
Yeah.
No, that's like a 40.
So now this is another shot of the Wegners Cafe, same building, it's doubled in size.
Where was it located?
So, you know where the Admiral Stable was? That's that building.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. And the other building that I showed you with the Wegners meat market, it's right on the right side. That was right on the corner. So there, Wegners Cafe, Mackinaw City. Guess what? There's a band, Mackinaw City band playing out in front of Wegners Cafe. This little boy right here, that's Jerry Pryor. Jerry told me that's him. Sit there and listen to the band. So that's, and then the next postcard. There's the band again out front of Wegners Cafe. This time there's Jerry and there's his dad. Jerry's dad. And these, I guess, are just the waitresses coming out to listen to the band. Yep. Yeah, I thought those postcards were priceless, so I found them. Because Mackinaw City always had a band. And there it is. This was taken. I got this postcard. It's got a post date of 1911 on the back of it. The Mackinaw City band. And the building you see in behind is a Stimson House. That's right across from the Stimson House. Mackinaw City band was playing. So, Wegners Cafe, okay. This building right there is the last building that Wegners was in, because the next picture, dang, same building, now it's called Jan's Restaurant. So it's the same postcard, but one's Jan's is colorized and this one is not, so Wegners Cafe changed hands to Jan's Restaurant.
Same cars.
So here we go, here it is, right there. Now it's Jan's Restaurant. There, and then the food store's still there, next to it, and then Tyson's across. Now we got the very own depot. And guess what? Bang, found this postcard. Caroline's food store is crossed off, now we put Jan's food store in there. So apparently the Jan's bought the food store also next to it. And there it is, Jan's. They remodeled the food store. Now it's a gift shop with apartments upstairs, and then the restaurant. And there's a more modern version. Now they took the cobblestone off the front and put regular brickwork in front of it. New modern sign. And another picture of looking down the street here.
Seven Thunderbirds sitting there.
Yeah.
There's a, down in front of Tyson's.
Oh, yeah. Well, my goodness.
And there's Jerry.
Stones, my goodness.
This is one of his statues he built, or carved, I mean. That's Chief of Wadham. And I was told, I don't know if I've seen it in Sandy's newsletter or what, but they took, about 5 or 6 of Mackinaw. It took them 2 years a piece to build, to carve them. And this is he that Wegners Cafe, and be pleased. So that's the end of what I have for Wegners Cafe. I do have some other pictures after this. If we got time. We can show some of buildings that used to be on South Huron Street. So here we go. More pictures down South Huron. So now this is an earlier picture. Now this is called Hawson Inn, Hawson Hotel Hawson. That everybody knows that's where the Embers was. This is starting of the Embers. And now there's another picture of it, Hotel Hawson. And then it changed names, and it went to Hotel Manitou. But probably mostly everybody knew when it was Hotel Manitou, because that was back in the 1957 when the Bridge Dedication Parade. That I have pictures of that building being in the background of the Hotel Manitou. And we're just discussing this. You understand it. So this gazebo here, it was down by the Dixie Monument. So I've always been looking. I knew this picture is a pine tree shop, and this pine tree shop was located next to the American Legion. If I see it in the picture right, of the blown up version in 1930, it was. So I believe they took that building and then they moved it next to the American Legion back then. It was called something else. And they made a gift shop out of it. It's got the same structure, it's got the same roof, it's got the same beams. The windows have been enlarged. But that was mixed between Kenville's and the American Legion. It's set in there. And everybody knows Jan's. We just Jan's Restaurant. No, that was on the lakeside, and that was across from. That was across the Carver Corn Shop, wasn't it?
Well, it was across from the Voyager gift shop and the gas station before
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
on the
they
lakeside.
moved it in the back, when Crandall's bought the Voyager, started that out, they needed a house, so they moved that across the street and put it behind the shop.
So it says November 1957, that picture was taken, so. Of Jan's Restaurant.
It stayed till 73.
Yeah, everybody know where the Marine Cafe was?
Yep. Right down there where the entrance to, Arnold line was.
Yes, that building is still there. Did they turn
No,
that?
That one's not.
Ain't that the ticket office? That's not the same one?
No.
Okay. I thought,
There was a house behind that, and that's what is now the, office building down there, right?
is that, okay. And the food bath, chicken in the basket.
Chicken in the basket.
Yeah, that was across from the Danvers. And right next to it, right here, is there was the Pines Cabins or. Alright, I debated on showing these ones because we've got another program coming up. With the Whatnot Shop. Anybody ever heard of the Whatnot Shop? Lived in Mackinaw. So I got this cannon, this machine gun right there. I've got several pictures when that was set. I'll explain it. I'll explain it in a minute. But it was a shop. All right, Polsky's Whatnot Shop, Mackinaw City, Michigan. Anybody recognize the interior of that?
Yep.
It changed. Now on the bottom there, it says I think 1936 or 8, and people are staying out. It can't be right. And but we'll find out. So anyways, here it is. The American Legion. It became the American Legion.
Fireplace gave it away.
Yeah, the firefight, yeah. But, so you look at the windows and the door and the roof line. It's the same building. So I bought a bunch of pictures with that machine gun, Gatling gun, I guess is what it is. In front of Polsky. I got a bunch of pictures with it sitting in, when they switched hands to the American Legion, it was sitting in front of the American Legion. And I have a bunch of pictures with that in front of the American Legion. Now, Bob Thompson told me that the Gatling gun come up missing one day and nobody knows where it went. So they had it first, set out, it was sitting right there in front of their building, the gift shop, and then when American Legion bought it, it went with the building and it disappeared. Grand garage, Robinson for our owner, Mackinaw City, and there's the first picture of the grand garage. And there's another picture of the grand garage. I explained to some people earlier that Tyson's is right there. Grand garage was next to Tyson's. Tyson's, this was on the corner there where the Greyhound bus station is. So Tyson's used to be located there, grand garage next to it. And when our Greyhound bought the property, he tore that Tyson's down and he tore the grand garage down and built the Greyhound bus station on that property. Yeah, there's Tyson's. That's one of the first pictures. I don't know if that's the oldest one of Tyson's. Greg, you know? But that's,
There's some earlier than that.
is there? Okay. I thought this was pretty cool. The Red Hots, the little teepee there, it's all Red Hots. And that building right next to it is Anchor Inn. That'd be the Anchor Inn restaurant hotel.
Now, is that across from the lake?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, but I wanted to know.
Yeah, there's another picture of Tyson's.
Cool.
And another one. They keep getting a little bigger. And then there's a Greyhound bus depot that went where Tyson's and Grand Garage was. Now, if you look in the back, back here, you see this building. So Tyson's was here, Grand Garage was here, and that's the old bunkhouse for the railroad. They used to sit there. And the Windmill Waffle Shop. Okay, here's the first picture of it. There's another picture of the Windmill Waffle Shop. So Al and Emmet Kenville, they used to run the restaurant in the depot restaurant for years. Well, Al decided one day he wanted to go on his own and not run the restaurant for the railroad depot, so he took this building over here, Windmill Waffle Shop. And he ran it for a little bit, then he ended up buying it. And that's my grandmother. She worked at the waffle shop. I had to throw that picture in. 1937. My grandmother. And there it is. Now Kindle's made it into their own building. Wegners Cafe. The old waffle shop. And there it is. There it is again. So the next picture is amazing though, because this windmill tower right there, when we get to the next picture, you'll see it. It's still there.
Behind.
When they remodeled the building, they had kept that windmill portion of it. Because I remember going in there as a kid, and we always wanted to go in the back section because it was just a round seat in that tower where you can go in and eat. And there, still there. And now it's gone. You remodel it again, and
Was the one moving in right there?
hi, Cunningham's. Everybody know where Cunningham's is? This is the first place where Cunningham's is located. And I hope I got a picture after it. Well, anyways, let me see. Yep, I do. Right there is where Cunningham's was. Remember the Keepy Hotel hamburger? Same building. See the roof line? And you go back and it's got the same roof line. So I think Cunningham's was first before Keepy Hotel restaurant. Not 100% sure. The only reason why is because they added the hotel on behind that building. And
Oh,
Wegners Cafe was on Main Street. So they were there first, and then guess what? Cunnington, after Downing's was there, that was Downing's. Then Cunningham's took over where Downing's moved down by the bridge. Cunningham's moved from there over here. Alexander's Plumbing and Heating. Now, P. Alexander owned both of those buildings. And so he leased the one section out and he kept the other one for his plumbing and heating. Now, Pete moved. He built a shop across the street and he moved his plumbing and heating across the street on the other side of the street. And then we got Daisy's Moccasin Shop. Went in where Alexander's was. And
yep.
that's the last picture of Cunningham's because you see that inside they're tearing her down. And I was talking about the Keepy Hotel and the hamburger. So that was a chain, and then for some reason this sign is always a baby. It's a picture of a baby, kind of wrapped up on the sign, and that was their symbol. So Keepy Hamburger Shop turned into Anchor Inn. So now we're at the Anchor Inn. Anchor Inn took it over. Now it's the food shop. It's in the hotel. Another picture of the Anchor Inn. And an inside picture of the anchor end. The seating. And next to the anchor end. Next to the anchor end is Lavelle's gift shop. So they must have had problems with parking, because if you look right here on the sign, it says 60-minute parking limit. And the Lavelle's, now it's called Lavelle's Gifts and Friendly Shop. Next to the anchor end. The next picture shows the friendly shop inside.
Don't let any kids in there.
No.
Big garage sale.
Yeah, it's a lot different back then than it is
Yeah,
now.
no kidding.
And here's another picture of the anchor end. Now it's a gift shop. And you got popcorn and Fort Fudge over here. Okay, now this a little newer picture. Now the Greyhound Bus Depot is Mackinaw Woolen Company. The anchor end is now Cecil's Seashells. And we got Tyson's, of course, on the end. And then now Jan's is called the Food Plaza. And everybody knows Sinbad's. Now this picture came from Chuck Brew and Jenny. When they let me scan, so they let me scan some of their pictures. Cause that's Alice right there in a parade. She was a marshal, grand parade marshal. Yeah, that's Alice Jones.
Really? That's cool.
And good.
That
That's
was
it.
really
Got lots more.
good. We could be here all night.
Oh, I could, yeah.
For years.
I had to limit
Thank you
myself.
so much.
Are there
Yeah.
questions for Roy?
Anything? Yeah. I don't have any answers, but you can answer.
You're a detective.
Yeah. Yeah.
No questions?
I was gonna ask Meredith, how does she put up with all this?
I hear the basement's quite full.
Oh, yes, yes.
No, I think it's great that you do this,
Yeah.
because you're keeping the history
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
you
So,
know.
yeah. So the Jerry Pryor, when they asked me to do this, I saw pictures of South Huron towards the end there. And so then I got looking at the pictures, I got enough pictures of the Wegners Cafe. I said, I'd like just to tell the story of Jerry's
Yeah.
family.
I think that's
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know anything about the Wegners, what they were before they came here? I saw it said Saginaw,
Saginaw,
which is where the Tysons came from.
Is it? Yeah,
I wonder if they knew each other.
yeah. No,
That's a
no,
question.
Meta, Jerry's
Mom?
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Meta, yeah. Now, you was telling me,
Yeah,
They
she
used-
worked.
she worked for Tyson's, and they lived right across the street,
Really?
almost where that first pictures were taken, in that area. So I think there was a house in behind that little building.
Where Super 8 swimming pool is.
Yeah.
Super 8. Where's the Super 8?
Yeah.
Across the restaurant, across the restaurant.
Across from here. Oh, that's a Super 8. I don't know about everybody else, my head's, I'm spinning trying to figure where I am.
Yeah. I didn't, well, I quit looking at my notes, so I probably missed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Well, no, you did a great job, it's just there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything moved and changed, and the names changed, and
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't here all that
So,
time, so I don't remember
Well,
some of these things.
Yeah. No.
no, my
I
grandfather
don't
Your
either.
grandfather.
made a.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, so
roof
it
for
was
my
Griggs'
grandpa
grandfather
probably,
that had
but I know
Tyson's.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she
Roy,
worked there
which
till
one was
about
Vanderhoost?
That was the anchor in
That was the
Vanderholt
anchor.
that ran it.
Probably
They
early
ran it.
70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wasn't R.J. Fisher the manager of Jan's? I think he told me that once. He came to town and that's his first, was his first job.
Before he went to vacation?
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Yeah, that's how he got started
Is
here.
he the
I
one the
think.
state clamped down on for sending food over to Sinbad's on a bicycle?
All right, well, get up and mingle, ask questions to Jerry in person, or Roy in person, and there's refreshments in the back Donna has brought for us, so help yourself and enjoy the rest of the evening here.
Yep.
Thank you.
No, thank you for coming. Yep.
That was, you know, for us trans.
The piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, so
She was in Florida before.